I turned on the record. Am I allowed to? Would you allow me to record?
Yes.
I'm sorry for the tone that I had the other day. I am very frustrated with this situation that is going on out here.
I understand.
The way that Robert is behaving in this entire situation, not agreeing to just be nice. Be nice. Finish out the year. Pay the bills. Don't try to screw people here and screw people there. That's what he's doing. I mean, when you drain the ink, when you sell off all the ink wheat, he sold off every bushel of ink wheat, put it into the ink, drain the ink to next to nothing, a couple $1,000s in it, transfers it into the partnership. From the partnership, when they removed him as treasurer from the ink, in the partnership, he drained all the money out of the partnership. Was at 255,000. He took 225,000 out of the partnership account and put it into this ghost account. He drained also the the Milky Brothers LLC, which is the cattle operation. There was $50,000 in there. He drained 30,000 of it out, put it into a separate ghost account. Are you aware of this?
I don't know details, but I know he transferred some money to different accounts.
There are two accounts that we know of. There could be even more accounts. Who knows? I know of two. Dad and there are two accounts that are known. Robert then transferred 20,000 out of this out of the cattle LLC ghost account back into the account. Wrote himself a check for $20,000. Great. Maybe need wages and fine. I have no problem. But there's no communication. Robert does not communicate with my father what is going on the farm. He called my dad the other day and said, Doug, you're not to write yourself any checks out of the partnership, and you're not to employ Nathan. Nathan is no longer employed out here. No longer going to be receiving paychecks. And we could have been out spraying. He chose to say, no, you're not going to spray. You're not going to do any work. You're not going to do anything. Mine. Robert is really causing a lot of friction in this situation. And what's funny is that Robert and Doug are equal partners. Now there is this Dorothy Milky C&D LLC that contains all of the partnerships, Carl's remaining partnership shares, along with all of his Inc. shares. That's how the LLC has a voting block of 48% when you and Cheryl and Robert stick together. It doesn't work. Work together, not against each other. We're not trying to screw anyone out here. We're trying to play nice, trying to come up with a division that works. That you guys came up with a division. Bob gets all the cows and a third of the wheat. Dad and I take the 2/3 of the wheat, and we have the Hardy place. We were going to proceed like that, but then Bob starts transferring money and hiding it and shoving it away. What is a reasonable person supposed to think when that goes on? Really? And then when there's this motion 3 that Dad showed me, the motion 3, you look at it. Bob is saying that this $180,000 is actually just a loan and that he wants that money back. Well, what kind of rental rates have you even agreed to in the first place? It's been kind of up in the air. It's been back and forth because the Inc. and the partnership have been switching money back and forth and all the time. But now Bob says, no, it's all mine. No, and that money that I paid as a prepayment is actually a loan. So I'm going to pull the loan back. I'm going to threaten you with a letter from an attorney that says you will pay 500 whatever $1,000 the thing was if you don't respond. We'll advise our client on what they're going to do next. Were you involved in that kind of discussion with Robert? Hey, Robert, maybe you should go talk to the attorney and see if we can, as a C&D representative, so that way we can collect whatever money we need to have owed to us. I mean, or were you just after the fact, oh, that's what Robert did, okay, I guess I'll go along with it. At the end of the day, this would be my proposed solution, just so that this thing winds down in a peaceful manner. Call a C&D LLC meeting, the 5 of you kids, you and Ron and Doug and Robert and Cheryl, and you all sit down and you talk about removing your mother as the managing director. Because right now, whatever you want, Robert, whatever you want. Okay, Robert, that sounds good to me. That Doug, he's a mean person. Doug and Ron, they're mean people. I have to live with whatever you guys come up with. Right now, this is insanity. I can't drive vehicles around. I can't run my lawnmower because it is technically owned by the Inc. And when the equipment rental stopped, no equipment was to be driven. That's why Dad has the pickups parked down here. We are driving personal vehicles. The reason I'm driving the Colonel, I bought the Colonel. The title is in my name.
Right.
Now I imagine you probably even thought about some tricky, sneaky things, and maybe that's the next thing. You might suggest this to Robert, that you can go and file a lawsuit against me for driving my car. Even though I paid for it, in the technicals things, I almost think that down in the basement, the title for that vehicle might be in the basement. But we couldn't even go in and look in the basement because you locked the doors. Didn't even tell Dad where the key's at. You've locked the doors. You put up security cameras to look for what? Nobody gives any answers. And you locked the damn mailbox up there. Bob is hiding mail had a hold on the mail in at the post office for a month. Did you know that?
Yes.
The month wore out, and so now, and then there was a letter that said you need to replace the mailbox with something that actually closes and whatever. And so Robert says, well, I'm going to put a locking mailbox in there. Does Dad have a key?
I think but your dad had the mail forwarded to
He has
your
the
house.
Inc. He has
Yeah.
Milky Brothers Inc.
And I believe the reason Robert put a hold on the mail is because mail was disappearing.
No. See, this is an accusation that I'm somehow stealing mail, that somebody's stealing
No,
mail.
I don't think anybody said you. It turns out it was Doug taking mail, ink mail out of the box without telling Robert. So I agree. We have definite communication challenges.
And
around
this
here.
is a function of Robert not cooperating. Dad is bending over backwards to try to make this work in whatever shape. But the only thing that Robert and you cannot be left out of this. You cannot be left out of this. You and Cheryl and your mother cannot be left out of this. These votes go 5-4 all the time. Why is that? You can't even agree. Hey, have you ever said to Robert, what is your problem? Just play nice, sign the agreement. That's the way that it worked in the past. And Robert has to release these terms for the Hardy church field and the Mildreds in order for the land separation to even work. Because otherwise, the north of Doug's and north of the Bottle Gate and the Hurley Hills and all that stuff, the agreed to 1,200 plus acres that Robert is going to farm, along with all the cows, in order for that to work, he has to release the Hardy Church field. But if he doesn't release the Hardy Church field, he supposedly has another 3 years or 2 years or whatever on a contract. And so on, I want all that money. And I'm just going to run that. You can't tell me any different. I control the partnership. But does he? He only controls the partnership because your mother allows it. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible, terrible thing. There's no cooperation. Dad's going, here, what do you want? What do you want? How can we make this work? And then the Mildred land is the same idea. As you're contacting Jerry Hardy, oh, Jerry, how's it going? I hear all the information. I hear all the information, and there's not, maybe not all of it. There's maybe some stuff that's left out, and maybe that's where you would tell me something that would help me sleep at night. Otherwise, I am sitting here going, I do not know what's going on. There is such a double standard. Bob is out swathing hay. Not supposed to do that. He even knows that he's not supposed to do it. That's why he puts an ad in the advertiser. One of his 5 ads in the advertiser this week. Have you seen those? Were you aware that those ads were going in?
I saw them today. I picked up a newspaper.
And so you see, there's 5 ads in there. He says, I need somebody to custom bale hay. If he knows that he has to have somebody custom bale it, why is he out there using the equipment? He knows he's not supposed to use the equipment. You're going to try to play some legal argument of, well, he's not doing that as a partner. He's doing that as an Inc. employee. And so Inc. people can reuse Inc. equipment, but partnership people can't use Inc. equipment, but they're the same damn people. There's no difference. That's why I call you up and I say, what are you doing driving Dorothy's car? Because that vehicle is owned by the Inc. That's part of the equipment. That's why I had to contact Ron to borrow his lawnmower to mow my damn lawn. I had let the thing go forever. I am trying to follow the letter of the law.
And I am trying to get this thing worked out to the same resolution you want. You and Doug farm, Robert and Max farm.
And have all the cows. Oh, fine. And that's that. And really, the easy solution was wheat and cows. Wheat and cows, wheat and cows, wheat and cows. There is so much debt that has to be paid. And
has your dad told you why he changed his mind about the lease that everybody approved?
Because when all of this stuff is going on, Bob is draining bank accounts. Dad is going, what the heck are we agreeing to? This thing is just up in the air. Can you imagine if all these leases were signed right now and Bob still does what he does? There is no recourse.
The chronology, though, is we agreed to the lease.
Yes.
In February.
Yes.
And then we canceled it in March.
The chronology is you agreed to the lease. You removed Robert from the treasurer position.
Yeah, that happened in January.
Robert had already drained the bank accounts. Robert, you might think that Robert's, he's just doing this to protect himself. Mm-hmm. Oh, he's just trying to protect himself. Because that scoundrel Doug is just stealing everything. At the end, you look at this, and how do you explain Robert's payments to his children? The $14,000, each kid earning the exact same wage. When I was there, when I was a summer employee, I didn't get just a blanket check at the end of the year. I turned in hours. Now I am salary because whatever my hours are, they're the hours. I am on salary. That's the difference between a salaried employee and an hourly wage employee. Trying to do any math on Bob's kids' wages and how many hours they worked, even at a crazy thing where you're figuring 3 months of work in the summer at 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, it turns out to be like $25 an hour. It's maybe even more than that. I had those numbers worked up earlier of what does this even look like? And you saw the side-by-side comparison of what Carissa and Jeff did that first year. And Carissa and Jeff made $3,500. That's about right. $3,500 in the summer. Maybe Max earns more because he's doing more work. But when you have Mariah and Miranda, how screwed does Mallory feel that she didn't get a cut of that check? There was stories. Jeff was telling me stories when he was up at Eastern. How Mariah, which one? Mariah. Was it Mariah or Miranda? Whatever. One of the two girls. Said, well, how much money did you make this summer? I got $14,000. And Jeff goes, whoa, how does that even work out? That is so much money just to, I just picked a number. I thought it was fair. If you look at how those numbers work out, they're close to, well, if Nathan's going to make $36,000, my kids are going to make $36,000. It's real close. Look at that sometime. Now you're going to, the other thing, how do you explain Bob paying himself an extra $25,000 the past 3 years? Christy doesn't drive that much truck in the winter to feed cows on Sunday mornings. Dad, it is part of your job. God, Dad and Robert are paid the same. You look at Dad. Dad has showed you the expense sheet of the things that he wrote back the farm, the food for wages, and however screwy that is. I mean, what a way to run a business. It's just nuts. But fine. But at the end of the day, equal amounts. But here's Bob taking more. It's even when you adjust for what would correct hours would be, and even if you were paying them $15 an hour, they're still being over. Robert has overpaid his children and himself $200,000 plus. How do you justify that? Oh, that's water under the bridge. And nothing can be done about that. Norm Brock says, oh, there's nothing that can be done about that. That was just a bad management decision. Just like the tractor that's sitting down in the yard, $13,000, that ran for 250 hours. I think I did one oil change on that entire tractor. It's on blocks, tracks, everything's shot. Bob hauls off all the equipment over to George's place, and we have to beg and plead to take it back, to use it. God damn the freaking lawnmower. Oh, can't use that. I am just at a loss with all of this insanity. And every day it's like, no, we just have to wait. Oh, Robert did something. Now we have to react. Now Robert did something bad again. Now we have to react. Now Robert did something bad. He's constantly doing. There's no reason that we couldn't have sprayed our own fields. But Robert wants to be stubborn about that. He says, well, no, I'm just going to spray them myself. I'm just going to. Doug has no say. No say. No say.
I think the thing that would have been good with the equipment is to let the equipment lease run concurrently and expire when the farm lease expires.
That's what the motion 2 does.
No.
It ends.
It.
No. Would you like a copy? Would you like to see the
No,
copy?
I have it. Hang on a second, please.
I will show you the exact language.
What I'm saying is.
Judy, here is the language.
Yeah, I know. I'm the secretary, so I read it.
So,
But what I'm saying.
But you don't understand.
It has. This is like the replacement equipment lease from the one we canceled.
You canceled the lease, and this is the replacement.
But why did we cancel the lease?
Because you had to get Robert's attention. Because he is right now. He's threatening lawsuits. He's drawing up letters from an attorney.
Thank you. I've seen it.
You've seen this. This is. I'm sure that you and Robert have pored over this document. It even gives the ability to rent the equipment for the 2017 year for the stuff that's in Summer Fallow right now.
Right.
This has gone above and beyond giving everything. This says play nice. It'll pay for the fuel and oil and nest things. Those are the things that the partnership has always paid for. No change. They'll surrender the stubble lands after the 2016 year. That's what's going to happen anyway. This idea that you can just keep on playing and delaying and delaying and delaying and delaying causes nobody any good. When Robert is threatening, how does it feel? How does it feel in your meeting? Dad said that was one of the things that Robert that just really just sent him through the roof. How does it feel to get screwed around? Robert, we had agreed to we just took we took the lease off the table until this all settles down, because right now there's a bunch of crazy going on. A lot of the expenses have not, nobody's sitting down rationally saying, hey Bob, what about these wages that you overpaid your kids? What are you going to do about that? Are you going to pay it back, or are you just going to keep the money? Bob, what's in these ghost accounts? And then I hear the excuse, well, that's general partnership things. That has nothing to do with the Inc. That's not an Inc. decision. That's a general partnership decision. And I'm thinking, when these lines have been so blurred and you're going to pick it out legally, just this in black and white, legal, specific. When you're going to play that game, yeah, you have to spell out exactly what is going on with this motion 3. It has to be, because the terms Robert has dictated is that it will be exactly spelled out in tit for tat. So that's why we're not moving pickups. That's why I'm not mowing my lawn, because I don't want to give you guys a single thing to scream about. Well, Robert might have run all the hay equipment, but you mowed your lawn. Kind of a difference. But hey, but there's not. And so we are following a legal proceeding. Robert's threatening a lawsuit. Why else go to an attorney and have an attorney write a nasty letter? With forged documents, by the way. Signed by Dorothy with her 2016 handwriting in 2006 from January. Carl died in May. He wasn't in the hospital. He was functioning. He was alert. He would have signed that paperwork. What was Robert's intention in doing that other than to deceive, to give himself legal footing by which to proceed in a lawsuit? He goes with these papers to a lawyer and says, "See, lawyer, I've got papers. This is the basis. These are the agreements that were signed, and they can't do anything about them. They're legally binding. That's why you did not sign this lease agreement for the cows and the wheat and whatever." Because then that's legally binding. And it's the same way as he'll play the games with the Hardy Church field. He'll play the games with the Mildred piece. He's playing the games with the CSP. He's playing the games with the crop insurance. Planting 8 acres in the wettest draw, and you get 115 bushels an acre. And somehow that gets factored into the floating average on the spring wheat yields. So that we have a 70 bushel proven average of the spring wheat. My God, if I could grow 70 bushel spring wheat just once in my life. Never happened. That can't be an average. That's deceptive. That's insurance fraud. Oh, but it's okay. We're screwing the government. Oh, we pay our insurance premiums. They should expect this. They should factor in for people screwing the system. How do you even defend this? I hope that you don't. And really, it doesn't. Bob is going to do what he's going to do. He's going to go down clawing and scratching. Every last little nitpit thing he'll scream about. He'll scream about everything. Won't play nice. Will not play nice. Files restraining orders, and then restraining orders on restraining orders. And I say, Bob, quit coming in you're harassing me, and next every step I take you're out with your freaking iPhone taking pictures. Well, you've done some wrong too, Nathan. Yeah, it was a stupid idea to have an unloaded gun. You haven't heard that. It was an unloaded gun. Magazine pulled from it. 5-6 years ago, whatever that's been now. Never once pointed at him. Never once held it in my hand. Oh, but it's fine, so the restraining order goes through. And Bob comes out there. The first time, when they're going to haul me in, I came out, hands up. Bob is running 5 and 6 tractors down in the yard in the middle of February. I'm kind of, what is going on? It is terms of the restraining order. There was the language, it is anticipated that all contact should be, or all farm-related contact will be handled with Doug, or I'd have to dig up, I don't know, you probably have the Holy Bible there too. The giant stack of paperwork that you throw down in somebody's face every time you say, Nathan's the problem. Nathan's the problem. Nathan's the problem. See, look, I'm sure you'll go in right now and write down that we've had this conversation. I don't want it to be taken out of context, so that's why I'm recording this.
That's fine.
Because I can email this to you so you can show this to Bob exactly. This is, I wish I had a dual camera so you could see my facial expressions. You can hear my tone. I am trying to be measured.
Yeah, and you are. You're doing a good job.
Thanks for patronizing. Oh, you're doing such a good job because you've been so out of control all these years.
And I'm thankful that we're having a conversation, because that's important too. Communication is good. We don't have to agree all the time, but civil communication is good. And you want to work toward a conclusion and a solution, I should say, and where you and Doug, Robert and Max, and that's
I don't
what
care.
I
don't
too.
care about Robert and Max. I really don't. I don't care what happens. I'm just trying to survive this event. But as as I can't do my field work because you won't agree to play nice. This is playing nice. This motion is playing nice. But no, we're not going to play nice. We're going to put ads out in the paper and say, no, we're going to custom bale, and we're going to custom harvest. Oh, also wanted tractors, 4890s, and all these things for parts. And I'm looking for pasture ground to lease. Oh, and in case I didn't remind you, I'll put the same ad in there twice. Wanted somebody to custom harvest. What business are you doing farming if you don't harvest yourself? If you're just having all your work custom done? That's what Robert does. He's the great manager. Just calls on the phone and shouts an order and everybody bows. And if it's not done the right way, it's not Robert's fault. It's everybody else's fault. They're just too stupid. They did not agree to do any of this stuff. And I'm the manager, and I have to just watch over every last cent and dollar. Because he's worried about the money on the farm. Everybody's worried about the money on the farm. So worried about the money that he overpays his children, $200,000+. That doesn't jive. That just doesn't jive. To be worried about nickels and dimes. Bob has fired employees for a $200 tool set that was purchased. How about a $200,000 purchase? Oh, it's okay when Bob does it. The double standard exists. The thing about a double standard is it means that there are no standards. The rules change all the time on what's acceptable behavior, what's unacceptable behavior. How much money do you want to give me? Well, I work so much harder. I work so much harder than Doug, so that's why I deserve $25,000. That has never been the case ever. Ever. Summer employees have always been paid by the hour. Fine, pay Max and those guys $15 an hour. When you look at the hours that I put in on the farm, and you look at the hours that I work, I make somewhere in that $12, $13, $14 an hour. No overtime. I'm fine. You don't see me bitching. The assumption is Doug wants to steal all the money or Robert wants to steal all the money. No, nobody wants to steal. Play fair. Be honest, open, communicate. There is nothing that prevents you from answering a question honestly. But no, this game is played out here where we can't give too much information. We're always scheming and plotting, and in what ways can we sneak and trick people up again? Oh, I got him now. I got him on a cell phone picture. See, here's a cell phone picture. It was 75 feet, not 100. The order says 100 feet. Damn it, I walked away. Bob goes to his pickup. I go back to the tire. Nothing, no words, nothing was spoken. And next thing I know, I fill up the truck and I'm out in the field spraying. Next thing I know, I'm getting phone calls and I've got sheriff's office and everybody's out there and they're arresting me. I've done 26 days in jail, Judy. Your brother has falsified a contract, has embezzled. That is the word I'm choosing to use. You look it up. It's pretty accurate. Embezzled $200,000 for personal enrichment. Right now, this ghost account, who's to say that at the end of the day, nobody was supposed to know that these ghost accounts existed. Nobody was supposed to notice that Robert transferred that money. He didn't tell anybody about that. It was only after the fact. We caught him. Dad's like, whoa, where's that money going? If Bob, it's for farm expenses. Okay, Bob, can we see those farm expenses? What's been written out of those accounts? Maybe fine. We're not controlling partners, so we don't get to write checks. But can you show us what has been spent? There's no. Gene Hine is the treasurer now. He shows everything. He gives you the treasurer's report. Here's the expenses that we had. That's only reasonable. But when you asked Robert, hey Robert, can you provide us an expense report? He pulls out the end of the year tax form. This is how much money we made. This is what our expenses were. Thumbs his nose at people. That's not cooperating. Because people have, for years, have been going, where is all this money going? Where has all this money gone? Well, $200,000+ of it went to Robert and his family. In overcompensation The final number is like $281,000. I figured $81,000 was probably legitimate compensation. But there's no way that you can justify $10,000 in a summer for Mariah, who drives hay truck for 3 weeks in a year. No way. No way you could explain that. Oh, bad management decision. Sure, bad management decision. Can't take any action against you. Neener, I got away with it, says Bob. What are they going to do? What can we do? I mean, with this equipment lease, we stopped the equipment lease. No more equipment used. I guess we could have gone out there and pulled every single key in every single piece of equipment and put them in a lockbox in at the bank that required 3 signatures to get it out. But no, Robert says, I don't care. I'm going to thumb my nose at you. I'm going to drive whatever pickups I want to drive. I'm going to run whatever swathers I want to run. I'm going to run whatever balers I want to run. He planned that out. He moved them all up to his house. You can see it from the road. Going, what the heck? Oh, there's a yellow thing, and there's the 2 red things, and oh, there's the baler sitting down. I don't go into Bob's yard. There's no reason there's nothing that prohibits me from doing that, other than common decency. Common decency says I don't go to Robert's house. I don't go anywhere. But no, now we're going to catch him with security cameras. Oh, we have to have those up. Because then we'll really get him. Oh, we'll really get him. All of this stuff, it's this game. I do not appreciate playing this game. We're trying to stop this game. That's what this entire farm breakup thing is doing. And we're not even dividing title and deed. We're dividing operational management, wheat and cows. And that even turns into a fight. And everybody is throwing up their hands, and that's the way you guys win. You just frustrate everyone to the point where they just quit and they say, fine, whatever you want. Robert's going to push for a $180,000 loan repayment. He's going to push for whatever it is, a $400,000 or $500,000 C&D payment. Fine. We'll just have to start liquidating farm assets. There is a response to every one of these things. This motion is a response to him not playing nice. There is nothing in here that is punitive. What is so mean about this agreement that you object to? That Robert objects to, other than it reduces his absolute 100% dictatorial control. And at the end of the day, that's what it's been about, hasn't it? Control. All the time. And it's not just enough for Robert to control himself. It's not enough for Nathan to control himself. You forced the law on me. You will control yourself or else. Fine. Lesson learned. What about Bob? These actions that he's taking piss off the entire family. Do you think it's nice and fair to try to have to drag Dorothy out of the home and prop her up in the corner and whisper in her ear, now you're supposed to vote with us? Okay. Do you think that's nice? Do you think it's nice to do that to Edwina? She just wants to be left alone, doesn't like this conflict, and you just keep dragging it out in time and time and time again. You'll have a meeting to discuss what you talked about at the last meeting, which was nothing, which is planning the next meeting. And as you're sitting there waiting for Bob to do something, to agree to play nice. All of these things that have been play nice. But nobody's willing to play nice. And it's unfortunate. It's terribly unfortunate. Because you cause strife, turmoil. I am losing my mind. Because I don't know what the rules are going to be. Ever. Can I go farm? Can I not go farm? I don't know. Can I drive a tractor? No, I can't drive a tractor. Robert says I'm not working hard enough. Oh, he's being overpaid. Oh, he just does nothing. Doug does nothing. He does nothing for the farm. Doug just spends all of his time at his house. I don't know. Maybe Bob, you've had your entire house finished, and you hired contractors to do it. That wasn't free. Doug, my dad, is down there at the house, building on it himself, because he's worried about money. The farm doesn't have any money. He doesn't have money to hire a contractor. So in the winter months when things are slow, he works on finishing his basement. The house down there has not been finished. The siding has been torn off the house for 5 years. And you're going to yell at us for going down there and finishing that up? That is unbelievable. Like Robert has never spent a single day working on his place. That's all he does. That's all he does. How many coats of paint can I put on the barn? How many coats of paint can I put on the fences around my house? How deep can I make the Lake Christie? How many more swing sets can I put up there? Oh, I'm going to build a giant water wheel and the farm's going to pay for all of it. Oh, I'm going to redo my well system. Okay. I'm going to build in a new drainage line. Okay. But then you're going to yell at us like we don't do any work? That is so hypocritical. Who do you think sprayed all the fields this year? The winter fields, Dad and I. Who do you think put in all the spring crop this year? Dad and I. Who do you think did all the summer fallow work? Dad and I. Well, Rob, that's not true. Robert did some. Nowhere near. And there again, it was so counterproductive. I mean, we're over there trying to spray, and next thing we know, here's Bob coming over there with another tractor and another sprayer. And it's like, where did that sprayer come from? He didn't tell anybody about it. Next thing we know, we've got another sprayer. And we're like, well, who paid for that? Who owns who'd you buy it from? How much? None of your business. Who's not cooperating? Who's not trying to come to a resolution on this? It's always been Robert. And you're right there alongside with him. What do we do now, Bob? Oh, let's delay it for another 30 days. Let's just delay. Let's delay this machine release thing for 30 days until we can really figure out what we're doing. That's what you had the first 30 days for. Oh, but why don't we just worry about this later? Because we have to get some haying done. Okay. Agree to be nice. There's no reason that Dad and I couldn't be out there spraying the fields, but no, he has to hire somebody else to do it. That's just money thrown away. They don't do it for free. We can spray for a lot cheaper than $6.50 an acre. Oh yes, I talked and said, Rob Soliday, just curious today. Just factual information. What are you guys charging an acre to spray? Okay. Where are you guys getting your water? Oh, George's? Okay. We have black water tanks down here. I don't know if you need those for water. Trying to cooperate. But no, this thing's a big secret out here all the time. Robert won't tell anybody what he's doing ever. And trying to talk with you and talk with Cheryl, like talking to a stone wall. I remember sitting inside that kitchen with you and Dorothy and my dad. And I asked, what does it take for this thing to end? Do I have to leave the farm? Is that really what this is about? I have to leave the farm? At least your mother had the decency to say yes. You just sat there and stared at me. I know where your allegiances lie, Judy. I know where they lie. I'm asking, where is your soul? Because this is dishonest. Everything that is going on out here is dishonest. Ulterior motives, secret plans, waiting for the next sneaky trick to pull. And everybody's trying to outthink everybody else. Nobody is willing to sit down and say, what is your problem? But you can't do that with Bob because he will not communicate. He will not play nice. He has never played nice. He berates employees. He was up here this fall. You heard about the Wally Buck incident. Oh, I was just talking to Wally. Talking so loud and screaming at him that I hear him inside my house. And I come up here and I'm going, you don't yell at employees like that. My God. And Wally was sitting up here whimpering. You could see it in his eyes. Please, sir, master, don't beat me. God gave a voice to the ass. As the guy is sitting there smacking him, the angel of God is standing before the donkey. The donkey speaks and says, can you not see why I'm stopped? Quit beating me. That was what Bob was doing to Wally. That was when Bob pulled me off the tractor. The first time that all this court stuff and legal stuff got involved. Bob was yelling at Chris. I said, Bob, don't pick on him. God, you're being unreasonable with people. And so how does Robert respond? He yanks me off the tractor by my back. Shoves me in the back. Well, Nathan, there was that time. The tractor down there in the yard. I was finishing up working. There were oil filters, shields that were not in place. I was putting my boots on at 8:05 in the morning, walking out the door. I said to John, because I can't talk to Robert, John, don't move the tractor. It's not ready to go yet. I've got another 15, 20 minutes on it, then you can use it. What does Bob do? Screw him. Drives off out of the yard. I get up in the tractor and I say, Bob, turn this around. Put it back in the yard. It's not ready yet. Pulls out a little camera phone, starts shaking it in my face. I reach to push him out of the tractor. He doesn't get out. I reach for the key. Robert pulls the key out of the tractor first. And I'm going, whoa, what is this? I lost it. I lost it. Grabbed him by the throat. And I go, whoops, going to jail. Going to jail. Better not do any more damage. Better not break his nose. Better not choke him out. Let go, walk away. Oh yeah, law enforcement on that one. 4th degree assault. Domestic violence even. Domestic violence. Oh, that's a great tag. I sure like having that one. All because, God, you couldn't leave the tractor for 25 minutes? You knew what we were doing. John, did you tell him? Yeah, I told him. All of these things have been Ron left the farm 25 years ago for this very same reason. And everybody just stood by. Nobody could fight. Nobody wanted to have this passive-aggressive war. This polite war. Where we all put on smiley faces and party at Bob's on 4th of July and at Christmas. Oh, I don't see any problem. Robert's a fun person. You don't work with this every day. You don't have to deal with the consequences. Every time I'm fixing up a sprayer and things are ripping off and metal is flying off the thing, I'm thinking, God, wouldn't it be nice if we could buy some new equipment? Well, Nathan, Dad says, Nathan, the farm doesn't have any money. Well, yeah, Dad, I wonder why that is. Maybe because Robert overpaid his kids. Oh, I saw those numbers years ago. Not my place, not your place, Nathan. That's what everybody says. No, it's not your fight. Not your fight. You're just an employee. Dorothy made that very clear. What, does Wally use gas? If you're going to treat me like an employee, good God. I thought we were family out here. I thought we were a good Christian family that played by the rules, that was nice and polite, answered questions, didn't steal, didn't cheat. No, we scam the insurance companies with crop fraud. We full recrop when that has never been done out here. Once every 20 years, maybe something came up, but we kept doing it year after year after year because there was a guaranteed insurance premium on it. Planted the entire fucking acres, all except 80 acres over there in Mildred's, all in wheat because we were going to capitalize on an insurance fraud. Oh, high insurance guarantee. The insurance. I don't farm for insurance. I do a good job. I take what comes. I pray for rain. My soul is good with God. Is yours? Good trees bear good fruit, bad trees bear bad fruit. You'll look at the fruit that's born out here. Deceptive meetings can't agree on fucking meeting times. Oh, this sometimes doesn't work for me. Let's just delay it. We'll just prop up the old people in the corner. That is not fair to anyone out here. And it just keeps going on because you couldn't play nice. Just agree to play nice, and at the end of the year, once everything is done and everybody's played nice and nobody can just pull any more shenanigans and tricks, then we sign a lease. But my God, right? This has gone on so long. Oh, we've got to try mediation. So you go to mediation, and Bob says, I want it all. The difference, if you wanted, I did some calculations on the difference between a 50-50 and what the current agreement is. Bob sacrificed 260 acres. And that wasn't good enough to play nice? For the entire cattle operation, 260 acres? Oh, the cows don't make any money. Really? Really, Bob? The cows don't make any money. Nobody makes any money out here, except for Bob and his kids. Sure was enough money to pay them. Not enough to pay off loans. Not enough to pay off debentures. Oh, but I sure do like that debenture interest check every year that I get. The $1,000, $2,000 of debenture interest. Where's that check coming from? No, don't worry about reorganizing the situation to pay off the debt. So you don't have to scramble, pinching pennies on everything. It's just disrespectful, Judy. Disrespectful. No, I'm wasting my breath up here. It really feels as though I'm wasting my breath. Because nothing.
I'm listening, and I'm glad we're interacting.
You couldn't. It has always been told to me that this is not about Nathan on the farm. This is about between Robert and Doug. And yet I'm the one who seems to be the cause of everything. And I have to steal the money. Nathan's getting overpaid. I'm working. My kids work just as hard as Nathan. Do they? Driving truck for 3 weeks? Yeah, I did that in the summers. I got paid about $2,500, $3,000. Oh, it's all FAFSA money because we have to defer the interest so they can maximize their student loan things. Okay. But where's the... So you're telling me that your kids are going to work for free for the next 10 years? Front-loaded the thing? What kind... I mean, now we're just trying to make up explanations for crappy behavior. For crappy behavior. Play nice. Agree to the motion 3. There's nothing here. You don't have to have all these long, drawn-out fights.
What I think we should do with the equipment is address just the equipment and not add on
For what purpose?
so we can figure out the equipment and keep the issues focused on the issue and not bring in separate issues like turning over the Marsha Peterson lease.
What would be the purpose of that? Because the Marsha Peterson lease needs to be a separate entity that can be argued about at a future date?
It's a separate issue, and it should be discussed separately.
What about the Hardy Church field?
The CSP thing?
That CSP,
Yeah, that should be a separate issue as well.
Judy.
They shouldn't be lumped together.
So Robert can just keep taking more money, and grossly spend it to shut Dad out of any discussion.
I just think it makes sense in a business world to focus on one issue at a time.
Is this how?
And
Do you treat your other contractors in Arizona like this? Do you? Do you expect to do repeat business with them if you're treating them like this?
I don't hire contractors. I work for a landscape architecture firm, and we do.
Okay, with it.
designs.
Okay, fine. The people that the subcontractors, the sub whatevers that you have to deal with, your suppliers, your whatever. Do you treat them like this? Do you treat family like this? We're trying to come to a conclusion on all of this, and right now, you don't even have to speak because I know. Well, you just think that Robert's just getting shafted the entire way, and God help you.
I think your dad will tell you that I've worked really hard and spent a lot of hours, and I'm willing to spend a lot more hours to get this thing figured out, because that's
Why?
ultimately
Can you
what I
tell?
want.
Can you tell me why Robert is not playing nice?
I'll just repeat what I said, that I am going to work really hard to help figure this out.
So you don't know why Robert's dragging his feet and not playing nice. This is one of those showdown moments. Just like in the kitchen, when Dorothy says, "Yes, Nathan, it would be best if you left the farm." And you'll just stare at me. What to your best guess, best knowledge, what is the reason for stammering and delaying and delaying and delaying?
I'll repeat myself. I'm going to work really hard to give you and Doug a good future, Robert and Max a good future, and I'm doing my best.
At this point in time, I'm going to turn off the camera,
Okay.
and I'm going to get in my car
Okay.
and leave.
Well, that's okay.
I'm letting you know that is the most dishonest answer I've heard. That is a politician's answer. That's not playing it straight. You're not going to make America great again. You're not going to make this farm great again with that kind of attitude. That is disrespectful and dishonest and deceiving.
To say that
But-
I'm trying my best.
No, by not answering the question to the best guess, what is the why is Robert dragging his feet on all of this? What has he told you?
My answer is
Your answer is that you're working hard you personally are working hard to make sure that this farm comes to an agreement between Doug and Nathan and Robert and Max. That's not answering the question.
I think that there are challenges on both sides of the issue. Challenges with your dad, challenges with Robert.
What has Robert said to you in regards to this motion 3 to why he will not agree to it?
I have my own thoughts on motion 3. I think that the equipment needs to be
I know
kept.
you've told me this. I'm not asking for what
Robert
has
thinks-
Robert told you?
He says that it's not a good business deal. It's not a fair deal.
What would be a fair deal in his mind? Business as usual? Write whatever checks you want to for things? How about a $5,500 check for cash? What was that spent on? Have you heard about that check? Written just this last week.
Your dad told me about it.
Have you talked with Robert about that check? Have you mentioned it?
No, because why would I?
I don't know, because you're a part of C&D, part of an owner of...
Robert and Doug are the key players here. Those two need to talk.
And every time that it comes down to this tiebreaker vote, without fail, without fail, you, Cheryl, Dorothy, all side with Robert. I'm just curious why. It's pretty intimidating having a camera on you, right? Because your answer is recorded. My conversation is recorded with you. It is pretty intimidating, isn't it?
No.
Because you don't want to lie, and so that's why you repeat. That's why you repeat your question.
No,
that's why you repeat your statement of I'm trying to get to a position
it's
where Doug and you.
It's what I tell a lot of people. I say I'm trying my best. This is not necessarily how I want to spend my free time in meetings and arguing.
Then don't agree to the motion. What has Robert has said that it's not a good business deal. What would be his proposed solution? I'm sure that you've talked it out with him because you plot and you plan and you scheme for your meetings. Why did you the vote? That was an interesting vote that you took when you were reassigning share members or whatever, however that worked, where you threw some votes to was it Ron prior to him being on the board, trying to play a little legal maneuver with the voting practices. That was an interesting legal trick. Do you always do
voting for Ron?
Yeah, it was a way of trying to split the vote.
He withdrew his name.
This is a side issue. I don't mean to get distracted. I'm just it all points
Distracted by
no
the truth.
no
because
because that point is moot. It's done. There's nothing that needs to happen about that. It's a repeated behavior over the course of the past 5 or 6 years of delay, deceptive practices. For what purpose? The cat's trying to answer. Cat knows. The cat knows because you and Robert are trying to scheme and plot so that Robert can get as much as he can. And the tactic isn't working. People are trying to play nice, and the more that you don't play nice, the more of this crap in these farm things and the legal hearings and proceedings and threatening letters by Robert from lawsuits and all the above. It doesn't have to be this way. You can play nice. You can play nice. But you're choosing not to. I am curious why.
I am being fair, honest. I always tell the truth. I'm working hard to get a solution.
I know that I know you're probably telling the truth. You have probably not lied at all in this conversation. You've avoided a million questions, direct questions that have an answer.
A monologue, and that's fine. I think it's good for you to tell me how you think.
I have paused several.
I'm listening. I'm listening really hard, and I'm trying to be respectful and give you my full attention. And that's all I can do is.
I have paused numerous times after asking you a direct question, and you stare at this camera, trying to postulate your answer. Because you have to think about it. It's not immediately in your mind. Well, it is. It is immediately in your mind. You just have to be very careful with the words that you choose because you don't want to lie. Thank you for being extremely honest. I am turning off the camera now and walking and getting in my car so that there is no misconstrued hanky-panky or any devious actions.
Right. Let me have Billy come over here just so you can back out. Okay? Thanks, Nick.